Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of No Holds Barred. Rob Wong and Postmedia wrestling writer Jan Murphy with you as always. You can find today's guest co-hosting on Busted Open Radio and AM 1300 The Zone. He is a WWE Hall of Famer, and of course, you know him as the world's strongest man. He is Mark Henry. Mark, great to chat with you again. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Good to be back with you guys.
Awesome. Now I know you were out in Fresno this weekend at an event called Galaxy Con, and it got me thinking because Jan and I we've been to lots of events where wrestlers are doing signings and getting to meet you guys. I imagine you've done so many of these types of things over the years. Do you have a favorite interaction with a fan at an event like this?
It's always the kids. Like little kids will come up and they'll like, yeah, I watch your whole career. And I'm like, you're 12. Like, how did you watch? And they just know everything. Like the real fans, they watch wrestling 24 hours a day. I mean, just, Cody Rhodes always comes to mind. Like I was like, man, do you watch any podcasts or TV shows? No, not really. Like it's all about wrestling. And when you meet those kids like that, it's the best.
I had Mark up here in 2019 for an event, and I can, say he was awesome with the fans, and they were just watching those interactions and watching those smiles, and people, Mark takes extra time to answer questions and things like that. When you get into the bigger festivals, it's a lot harder because there might be thousands of fans, where here we had,
Yeah.
hundreds of fans, so we were able to slow it down, and they could ask questions and get an
Not
autograph.
me. Nope. Uh I gotta talk to people. I don't keep my head down and sign. Like I look up at everybody and talk to them and ask them how they're doing, and like it takes longer, but that's what I'm there for. So like when people bring me to these cons, they can't believe it because they're like, but that's just who I am. Like if you lean into who you are, then you never miss.
No, that's great to hear that you spend so much time with the fans that come out to see you. And it's interesting as well. 29 years ago today, if I have it correct, Mark, your first ever pay-per-view, SummerSlam 1996. For people that don't remember, maybe that haven't watched your career that long ago, you came out and helped Jake Roberts against Jerry Lawler. That of course was a crazy year for you. You had the Olympics and everything going on there. It was your first year making WWE appearances. But what do you remember about that event specifically, and all the sort of everything leading up to that night at SummerSlam?
Well, one of the main things I remember is I had never met Jerry Lawler. Like I had met Jake Roberts before, but I had never met him. And I had been a fan since I was a little kid. And to be able to meet somebody and have to put that down, how much of a fan you were, was pretty damn hard to do. And it was visible because I just kept smiling. And people were they're like, hey man, like you're supposed to be serious. I said, I'm serious. I'm serious. They're like, no, no, stop smiling. I was like, I can't. Like, so that was like the biggest thing is I had never met him and I thought it was just real cool.
Someone who's doing a lot of reflecting these days, no doubt, is John Cena, who's down to his final handful of appearances. Um, I want your thoughts on what you think John might think about what has happened so far on this run. He's kind of checked off a lot of boxes, made a heel turn. What might be going through his mind now as those final appearances wind down?
I think the number one thing is missing like you as much as you on the road and it's hard to travel and so forth, you miss going to the towns and having the frequent relationships with people. Um, I just went to San Jose, and one of the things that I always loved about going to San Jose is there's a restaurant there that I love, Original Joe's. Stays open to 3 in the morning. All the wrestlers would go there after the shows because we knew it was going to be really good food and we knew that it was going to be open. And just the interactions with the people that own the place and run the place. I just talked to a guy that I hadn't seen in 8 years. It's been 8 years since I went there. And he was like, "Oh my God, you're back." And it was like he thought that, well, I mean, there's people that come and then they never come back again. That's what I miss, and I know John's going to miss that. He's going to miss the old lady at you know San Diego. Whenever we wrestled in San Diego, there's an old lady that's been there, man. It'll be 30 years for me in August next year. And I got to do something for my 30th anniversary for pro wrestling. But she ran the security, the guard gate for the last 40 or 50 years. She's like in her 90s or 80s, like 80s or 90s now.
Wow.
And every wrestler knows her. We all know her. And I can't remember her name right now, but if I drove up, I would know it. It would hit me right like a ton of bricks. But John is gonna miss running into those people, and they're gonna miss him.
I
Yeah.
was in Montreal last well, a week ago Friday. The loudest ovation I've heard in a long, long time. The Montreal fans are pretty crazy, and John had just swung back to babyface Cena. So I'm going to miss John Cena. I'm going to miss John Cena's place in wrestling. He and I are the exact same age. I interviewed him uh, one of my first years of covering professional wrestling. He was in his first year with WWE, and uh, he's been part of my life as much as anyone around wrestling. So it's
Right.
going to be really weird to think that there'll be a world without John Cena.
That show in Montreal, did you see the little kid that was on the internet that he was just so aggravated that he was like, no, he's got to come out like and when the new heel music played, he was just down in the dumps. He was just like, God, no, and his dad is videoing him, and he's like, it's gonna be all right, buddy, like and then the music changed, and
Yeah.
then he jumped and screamed this ah. And I thought that that was like the cutest thing. Like, man, I'm telling you, like, there's an emotional attachment to pro wrestling that I remember from my childhood. So, like, I'm sure John is just like he's soaking it all in now. But it's gonna hurt more than he think. It's kind of like a funeral, like somebody you love, they pass away, and you go to their service, and it really doesn't hit you until you're by yourself and you're driving somewhere and you think of something funny, and you want to call that person to tell them, and you realize you can't. Like it's gonna happen. Like he's gonna mourn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And look, it's crazy that we're, more than half of the way through the year, and there's only so many dates remaining for John Cena. We know he's got a date coming up next month against Brock Lesnar, which is going to be a crazy match. But I think everybody's looking beyond that right now, Mark, and wondering who that final opponent is going to be come December. In your mind, who do you think that person should be?
Oh my gosh, man, who should he face? Um, I I really think that it would have to be The Rock. I think The Rock would have to come back and say, "Look, I tried to do something with you that I didn't think you could do for yourself, and you failed at that. You just couldn't help yourself. Now I tried to buy your soul. Now I'm going to take it."
Nice.
I like it.
and like go out with the two biggest wrestlers of the decade.
I'm with you on that. I've been saying it has to be The Rock. Some people, there's two kind of prevailing theories out there. Does he elevate somebody else or does he have a match with somebody from his past? And I just think you have to finish with The Rock.
No, he's got 11 dates. There's people that he can elevate in the next 2 months, but ultimately at the end, um, it's got to be somebody that's in the same rarefied air as him.
Were you surprised to see Brock Lesnar return?
I was, I
I was.
was, and I'm a big Brock fan, and despite all of the other happenings that transpired and why people were a little iffy on whether or not he should be back, that has nothing to do with the talent of the performer. I always said that it's kind of like when football players go in the Hall of Fame. Like, yeah, they may have a storied past with the police, but when they were playing, there was nobody better and nobody cheered harder for them than the fans. So why not? Why not?
Brock is a draw. I've said it all the time. There are guys, there are probably an elite, small, tiny group of guys you can actually call draws, like that sell tickets
Yeah.
single-handedly.
I
Brock is
mean,
one.
he's in that category with Andre,
Yeah.
where you're an attraction. You're not just a wrestler. You're not just an entertainer. You're not just a fighter, a musician, or whatever it is. Like you talk about drawing. Drawing is a byproduct of what you do, but what he is an attraction.
Yeah.
You put his name on any card, and the money is going to go up. More people are going to show up. The media, like, us, we're going to ask more questions. We want more interviews with him. Like, he's an attraction. It's not many people that come along like him, The Rock, Hogan, Ric Flair, Andre, like that top 10 of Steve Austin, Undertaker. Like the guys that are in the top 10 upper echelon of wrestling, they're draws. They're attractions.
Last one for me, Mark. I know we talked to you about this last time we spoke, your connection with John Cena, of course, and the crazy swerve that you guys had in your fake retirement. And I think recently people are talking about another swerve.
Told you he
It's
was rotten all along.
you
No, no, I'm
called
joking.
it. But I think a lot of people right now are talking about a more recent swerve, the Seth Rollins injury angle, which I think some people may have seen through, but I think a lot of people did not see that coming and see him return at SummerSlam and cash in money in the bank. What did you make of that whole situation where it seemed like there were even a lot of wrestlers behind the scenes that didn't know this was a work, and Seth Rollins had to put up these fake videos. He's walking around with crutches. He's showing up on Rich Eisen talking about how long he's going to be out. It was an incredible job by him, of course, and Becky Lynch and everybody there to make it work. But as someone that has, been in that type of situation where, you swerved everybody and really turned things upside down, what did you make of it?
That dude lied like a rug. And I applaud him for it because it's been the mainstay of wrestling. And when I did it, I wanted to be like Bob Orton. Bob Orton lied for 3 years. He had a broke arm with a cast for 3 years and used it as a weapon. Like it's the mainstay of wrestling. You're supposed to lean into it. You're supposed to do it. Like just to be a part of that history. Seth Rollins, congratulations to you, sir. You are in the fraternity of guys that was able to pull the wool over the eyes of the entire industry of pro wrestling. Good day, sir.
Last one from me, Mark. Someone we both work with, Nattie Neidhart. She does a show with you guys, and she does a show with us. What do you make of the Natty character that we are seeing emerge in other promotions, and why is it taking WWE so long to bring that character to their
Because nobody
program?
wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. I hate it when I'm wrong, and the WWE is wrong. And I said it, yeah, I did. Like, if they want to feel like they got a return on their investment, they should say, we help you get to that place. And then just join the bandwagon. Because Nattie Neidhart is right now one of the top 5 women wrestlers in the world because of what she's been able to do with the evolution of using what her misfortune and her misuse. She is Mark Henry Hall of Pain, but a woman. All the anger, all of the doubt, all of um, the lack of faith in you, and everything is bubbling over. Why not make money on it while it's there? The window is closing, and I don't know how long Natty is going to wrestle, but Natty has already promised me when my daughter is of age to that she's going to teach her everything she knows. Like I can't. How you gonna go against that? Like she's gonna be after her career. She's gonna be the greatest female coach of all time. I guarantee you, she is that damn good. And while she is in this run, have you ever seen her look more intense, more
Never.
focused, more aggressive? And her work speaks for itself.
Interesting.
There's not one female wrestler in the world that could work better than her.
I
Not
think
one,
I
including
to-
Charlotte Flair, who I hold Charlotte Flair as the best female entertainer of all time. Microphone, looks, athletic ability, wrestling prowess. She doesn't have a weakness. She's the best that ever did it. Natty is right there right now. And it's a travesty not to use her.
was talking to her last week, and I said it's so Ronda Rousey, but a better wrestler. She's just like honestly, Ronda had the intensity, right? And that's the intensity that Natty's channeling right now.
Yeah,
But Natty's a fantastic wrestler, maybe the best in the world.
yeah,
And
without a doubt.
I don't understand it. I'm hoping that tonight is a turning point. I really am.
I hope they wake up and it just comes a day where you want to make a Brock Lesnar out of her. You can do it right now. You just have to commit. You just okay. I know we put money into this. I know we put money into that. I would have Natty go and beat the living hell out of whoever they looked at as being the ultimate one and put her on the shelf for a while and take her spot. Pay them, send them home though, and then say, no, you took out our champion, you took out the most prolific wrestler in the world right now. You're gonna fill her place. You can't go. We'll sue you for everything you got if you don't show up and be that wrestler. Like it's not hard to do. It's just a matter of checking your ego, admitting that you didn't see it,
Yeah.
and then put it on TV.
Yeah, we're
And
all inside.
I'm off my soapbox.
Look, we're all on the same side with you here. We love Natty, and we hope we do get to see that version of her in WWE very soon. They call her the boat for a reason. Mark, really appreciate the time as always, man. Thanks for doing it.
Thanks,
Hey, I
Mark.
appreciate y'all. We'll see you again soon.